What's going on, guys? Killer6 back with another Borderlands top 10 video, and this time we're taking a look at the top 10 legendary SMGs in Borderlands 3. For each DLC gun I pick in this list, I will also include an honorable mention of a base game SMG that would be a decent substitute. These are my personal picks, but as always, I'd love to hear what you guys think as well. So let me know down in the comment section below what your favorite SMG is and why. If you enjoy these types of videos, please take a second to tap that like button and hit subscribe for more. With that, let's get started.
Number 10.
Coming in strong at number 10 is the Sleeping Giant. This gun was buffed in October 2020 to double its mag size, increase the chance of reloading into a special ability of the gun like fire rate and or weapon damage, and increase the damage amount that the reload perk would give the gun. And now when you reload, you have a 33% chance to get all of the reload perks at once. That is essentially a 1 in 3 chance to get all of the reload perks at the same time. When this happens, the Sleeping Giant becomes one of the most powerful, high-speed laser death machines in Borderlands 3. This gun in the hands of Zane is one of the most fun experiences out there. In the hands of a bottomless mags Moze, you could reload until you get all of the at once perks and just run around shredding everything. It's an excellent all-around weapon now in the hands of any Vault Hunter. The Sleeping Giant drops from one punch in the Promethean map, Electra City. My honorable mention goes to a DLC 1 weapon, the Ion Laser. This gun also got a couple of buffs last year, increasing its damage twice and increasing the number of projectiles that are released when the laser stops firing.
Number 9.
At number 9 on this list is the SF Force. Now, I almost didn't include this one on the list at all, but it's a very strong option after the buff it received on January 14, 2021, which increases damage by 400%. The problem, though, is that the damage is only increased on the primary firing mode. So if you get one and it drops with corrosive and shock, but shock is the alternate firing mode, then the shock damage will be 400% weaker than the corrosive mode on the weapon. The easy workaround would be to farm this in every single element. The problem with that is you shouldn't have to. The alternate firing mode has been reported to Gearbox, so hopefully they fix it soon. Anyhow, the SF Force shoots out laser beams and musical notes. This gun is really strong now, and having more elemental SMG options is always a bonus. This one does drop from DJ Spin's Mouth in Skittermall Basin in DLC 2. My honorable mention for a base game replacement goes to the Hyper Focus. Now, sadly, the Hyper Focus is still in a little bit need of a buff from Gearbox to bring it back up to its previous glory, but even still, it's an exceptional SMG on normal mode.
Number 8.
Coming in at number 8 is a weapon that honestly deserves a buff to make it even stronger, and that's the Smog. Now, the reason I see it needs to be even stronger is that you can only obtain this from the Guardian Takedown, which is the hardest content in the game. And for it to be outdone by the next 7 SMGs on this list is kind of a testament to either how amazing those other SMGs are or how underwhelming the Smog is. I'll let you decide as we go. That said, I think the Smog is great, but it could use that little bit of a boost in damage. Basically, this gun is like having a built-in B shield from Borderlands 2 on your weapon. While the shield is active and you are aiming down sights, the Smog does exceptional damage. It works great on all 4 Vault Hunters and it feels so nice to shoot. Again, just a tiny bit of a buff to push it above the next 7 items on this list would be amazing. My honorable mention goes to the Ripper, which has received a damage buff recently, bringing it up to a much more viable level.
Number 7.
Up next in the number 7 spot is the Embers Purge. This Maliwan SMG is locked to fire damage, but the amount of damage you can get out of its elemental pools is absolutely insane. I would honestly rank this one higher, but being locked to fire means that you're going to lose some damage in mayhem modes. But the special ability of this gun does not care about matching elements. You can shoot an enemy and it will spawn a damaging incendiary pool at their feet, and this pool receives elemental and splash damage bonuses at the moment, making it ridiculously overpowered right now versus just about everything. But that's also where my reluctance to rank it higher comes in. As overpowered as this effect is, I worry that it might lead to a nerf of this weapon's special ability, but at this point in the game's lifespan, I don't know that that's even worth their time to fix. The other downside to this weapon is you cannot farm it. You can only get this once per Vault Hunter per playthrough, so if you're anointment hunting on this one, it's going to be a rough time. To get this gun, you will need to find all of Ember's bombs in DLC 1, and once you do that, she will mail you this gun in your in-game mail. So again, you can only get it once per playthrough per character. My honorable mention goes to the Kib's Worth, which is still a fun SMG that's only obtainable from Wotan and the Maliwan Takedown. The Kibs deserves a little bit of a buff itself, but in the hands of a Moze with a splash build, it's still fairly strong.
Number 6.
Sliding into the number 6 spot, we have the Proprietary license. This DLC 3 SMG combines features from multiple manufacturers to make one of the best SMGs there is. Honestly, this one could slide up the list to top 4 easily with the right build, combining the sticky projectiles of the Chaosan with the critical ricochet of Jacobs, the fire rate burst skip ability of the Nighthawk, and the Proprietary license just shreds. And even though I'm going to list 5 more legendary SMGs ahead of this one, it's honestly one of my favorite SMGs to use on Zane right now. The Proprietary license drops from the Hydragoian in DLC 3. My non-DLC honorable mention has to then go to the Chaosan, which, let's be brutally honest here, needs to have its damage and accuracy nerfs undone since it is a Mayhem 6 exclusive legendary.
Number 5.
Cracking the top 5 is the Dark Army. This arms race exclusive SMG can world drop an arms race from any enemy or chest, drop from the final boss, or you can target farm these chests right here for a higher chance at this SMG, as well as the Plasma Coil, which you know is probably going to show up again later in this list. Now with the Dark Army, you want to be on the lookout for the plus version. This will increase your damage considerably over the single plus option. This gun summons drone-like copies of the gun that will target any enemy that you're looking at. It also deals splash damage from its shots, and throw reloads will hit and cause elemental pools at enemies' feet, capable of substantial damage as well. But the most prominent aspect of this gun is that when you reload, the drones will get increased damage and be able to fire whatever element is associated with the gun. You can use this to tremendous effect by pairing the gun with a variety of powerful anointments, making it even more capable. Just a fun weapon that wrecks everything in sight. My honorable mention for this one is going to the Handsome Jackhammer, which is still a fun SMG that thinks it's a TDR weapon. It's a little bit underwhelming on Mayhem levels, but it's still a lot of fun to use.
Number 4.
At number 4 is the Bloodstarve Beast. This doll SMG is one of the most entertaining gunplay experiences in the game for me. Shooting orbs that penetrate enemies and deal elemental damage, a high fire rate and mag size, and the ability to be full auto makes this gun just a absolute blast to use. This is one that is solid on all 4 Vault Hunters regardless of the build that you're using, and the only real downside to this weapon is that you do have to farm Evil Lilith in DLC 4 to get it, and that's one of the more annoying farms in all of Borderlands 3. That said, I think it's absolutely worth the work. Honorable mention goes to the Redistributor. Now sadly, the Redistributor has fallen fairly hard with the projectile nerf that happened some time back, but it is still a fun weapon, and with the right build, it can still shred.
Number 3.
Popping up at number 3 is the newly buffed DNA. This Mayhem 6 exclusive is only obtainable from General Trant on Desolation's Edge on Necrotafeo, but it is extremely easy to farm. This gun received a buff in January 2021, increasing the damage by 166%, while also increasing the fire rate, reload speed, mag size, and projectile speed. These changes made this gun one of the absolute best all-around weapons in the game, and hurtled it from my worst legendary items list to number 3 on the best SMGs list in a matter of weeks. The DNA shoots out 2 orbs that split off in different directions with an elemental energy blade held in between them. Each shot has a random element. This gun now absolutely shreds on every Vault Hunter, and being a base game item, this means that even if you don't own any of the DLCs, you can get this gun and wreck everything in the game. My honorable mention for this one is the DLC 1 item, the Cheap Tips. This gun was recently buffed as well, increasing the amount of chips that you get when you shoot enemies, and the more of those chips that you pick up, the more damage you do. Do not sleep on this gun. It's honestly worthy of a spot on this list, but it just barely got bumped. It's well worth farming for a good one though if you like SMGs.
Number 2.
At number 2 is the Flipper. This Maliwan SMG, lots of those on this list, huh? Deals full splash damage and gains increasing projectiles the longer you shoot. It goes from 1 projectile to 3 to 5 to 7, all the way up to 9 total projectiles at once. This means after the first few shots, you will continuously shoot 9 projectiles all at once for the remainder of your mag, as long as you're holding that trigger down. This makes this an absolute killing machine. Another great thing about the Flipper is that you have a 30% chance to get it to drop from Minosar in DLC 3. That is a ridiculously high farming chance to get any legendary in this game. That's the beauty of DLC 3. Almost every single awesome item from that DLC is a 30% chance to drop. So that gives you a super easy to farm murder machine available in all elements. Now, before the number 1 SMG was added into the game, the Flipper was hands down the most sought after SMG out there, and it's still one of the best all-around weapons in the game. Honorable mention goes to what I'm going to call the poor man's Flipper, the Tsunami. This SMG drops from Vermil Lingua in the base game at the end of the Pause Rifle side quest in Splinterlands. If you have not tried the Tsunami in a while, you might be surprised by how good it actually is.
Number 1.
Finally, coming in number 1 is absolutely no surprise to anybody who has ever used this gun before, the Plasma Coil. This gun was introduced with DLC 5, the Arms Race DLC, and it can drop from any enemy in that DLC, the chests, the vendors, or from the final boss. And like I showed you guys on the Dark Army section of this video, it can also be targeted farmed from these particular chests right here. This gun is an absolute beast of a weapon. This Maliwan SMG starts up slow, but it absolutely melts, and it does not even care if you're matching elements properly. And that's honestly about the only knock I could put on this gun. It's locked to radiation and shock. But like I said, it doesn't even care which of those things you use. It's still going to tear up every bit of content in the game. If you've ever had a problem completing any content in the game, then farm yourself a Plasma Coil with a good anointment and go try that stuff again. You will not regret it. Being as amazing as this gun is, I cannot even in good conscience list an honorable mention because there's very few weapons that even come close to competing with this thing. So that's my top 10 legendary SMGs in Borderlands 3. Let me know down in the comment section below what SMGs you love and which ones I listed that you don't like. If you enjoyed this video, please take a second to hit that like button and hit subscribe if you want more videos like this one. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.